taking that path with us and making this possible. What actually sort of came to light was that particular afternoon after the press conference, I actually went to lunch at Zupa's. I think that was the last time I went to lunch. And as I'm trying to sit down, there were no tables where you could sit, so I had to share a table with a bunch of other people that were sitting at a table. So I sat down, and there were these two ladies talking to one another, and one said to the other, "I'm so glad that ThedaCare made the decision to not go from 2 to 1 and keep those hospitals in our communities. Because I moved to this community to live close to the hospital so that my family could get care." And in that moment, I knew we had done the right thing. And so this is, these are moments in which you know that the decisions that you make in a boardroom or the decisions that you make in a community ultimately come back into the community to help the people that are here, and that's what we are here for. So keeping that in mind, at the end of the day, bricks and mortar are really important, spaces are really important, technology is really important, but the most important thing are the people who take care of the people. And so we often talk about the fact that there are two types of people in our business: those who take care of people and those who take care of the people who take care of the people, right? And so by virtue of this investment, by virtue of creating this space, where we are sitting today is what is going to be the graduate medical education space where newly trained residents, physicians are going to be minted right here in Neenah for our communities, right? I mean, imagine that. That's a sort of a fountain of giving back to the community year over year over year. The other thing that I just want to mention, not to go too long, is just about 18 days ago, we actually consummated the combination of Freighted Health with ThedaCare. And by virtue of doing that, what we were looking to do yet again, was to make an impact to all the communities that we serve. Coming together, bringing the best of the two organizations that are rooted here in Wisconsin, that are governed by people in Wisconsin, and led by people in Wisconsin for the people of Wisconsin. So I'm really thrilled that we are in the throes of that, and we continue to make efforts to move the needle forward in terms of quality and safety and access and care and value and improving the cost of care as we do that as well. So thank you to a lot of people. I have Dr. Georgian sitting here, and thank you to a lot of our physicians, our nurses, our technicians, our clinicians, our brand marketing communications folks, our board members, our family of foundations, our Neenah Foundation, our community leaders, our community members who've given so selflessly of them and their money so that we could make this a reality. So I truly wish to thank each and every one of you for your many, many contributions. Last but not least, I have the great pleasure of bringing in front of you our board member, who's also going to be the chair of the ThedaCare North Region Board, Mr. Chuck Dallas. Chuck?
Thank you very much, Mr. Andrabi, Dr. Andrabi. And good afternoon to everybody. I am so honored to be with all of you today to not only celebrate this very important modernization project, but also to represent the Board of Trustees. The board is proud to support the organization's vision of reinventing healthcare and empowering patients and the community to improve their health and well-being through access to comprehensive care, programs, and services. Board members ensure the organization advances its mission of improving community health while providing financial and quality oversight and strategic decision-making. This region is known for our deep connection to families, friends, and neighbors, for caring for each other. We work together to build a strong community, and it's why we are privileged to call this home. This is also a community that is forward-thinking, planning for tomorrow, and investing to provide a better place to live for our children and our grandchildren. On behalf of the board, I would like to thank everyone who is helping to bring this vision to life, project partners, ThedaCare leaders and caregivers who are dedicated to providing the best care possible for our communities. I would now like to introduce Lynn Detterman, the Senior Vice President for ThedaCare South Region. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck, and thank you to the support of our Board of Trustees for making this modernization come to life. And like Dr. Andrabi said, unless you saw the before, you really don't understand what an HGTV moment this is today. Our patients and families were the priority when we decided what changes to make and how the phases of these changes should be made. We've said many times we were building a plane and flying it at the same time. And it's been 2 years in the making, and we are so blessed to be here today. We appreciate the community's understanding and patience as we were, the pardon our dust does not do justice. There were a lot of walkarounds and a lot of tricky wayfinding during the last 2 years, and we really do appreciate everyone's patience as we got through this. We're very proud of our team members who have continued to provide care for our patients. They didn't miss anything, and it's their dedication that really helped make this possible. And so now I'd like to talk about what changes we made. So Dr. Ray Georgian will join us in just a bit to talk about the updates to the emergency department, trauma, ThedaStar, so I'll focus on the other aspects. We created a modern physical and occupational and speech therapy suite. And why is this important? As some of you know, we do a lot of stroke care at this facility. So we take care, and we also take care of a lot of traumatic brain injury patients. And in this unit, we even have a brand new driving simulator. So if you've had a stroke, you've had a traumatic brain injury, you may need to use that driving simulator to make sure that you are safe to go back on the road. And that's something that we didn't have previously. We also updated our cardiac catheterization lab and our special procedure suite, which is now integrated with our surgery department. And this is how we care for not only our cardiac patients, but also our stroke patients with new state-of-the-art equipment. Our teams designed a new women's center, which includes mammography, diagnostics and imaging, and bone density testing. And it created a space that, if you're coming in for your MAM, the least we can do is make it feel like you're in a spa. And so that's what exactly we've done. And it's very calming. It even includes a brick wall from the 1948 building. So we were able to preserve some of our history in this space as well. We've redesigned our inpatient behavioral health space, and I mean gutted and completely rebuilt. And sometimes in health systems, the behavioral health unit isn't always the top of mind unit to focus on. Sometimes the units that do drive a lot of revenue to the organization can be a bigger focus. But for us, we knew that this was one area that we knew could be better, not only for our patients, but also for our team members. And so now we have the capacity to care for 19 patients, and we now have all private rooms. We have a direct line of sight for our team members to the patients. We have a relaxation room, an exercise room, all things that we didn't have in our previous unit. We've also updated our family birth center. We couldn't forget about our family birth center. Like Dr. Andrabi was saying, it all started once a baby was born. And this allows our families to welcome their little ones into the world, into a modern, comfortable, and soothing environment. And the latest thing that we will be starting in the month of February is our new obstetric emergency department. And so what does this mean? We have had a traditional model of where a woman is in labor and we call her physician or provider, and they come in out of bed in the middle of the night and they deliver that baby. Well, now we will have an in-house physician who will not only take care of our OB/ED, but also be our laborist. And so if that physician isn't going to quite make it in time, because sometimes those babies have a mind of their own, and they come in the hallway before we can even get the mother to the unit. Happens rarely, but it can happen. Now we'll have a physician right there to deliver that baby and not have to always wait for that physician to get out of bed in the middle of the night and race to the hospital. One of the most noticeable updates is the main corridor area on the first floor. And this is where we have access to all of our outpatient testing. So one of the things we wanted to do, the things that we do the most of, so lab and cardiac testing and neuro testing, we wanted to bring front and center to the facility, easy access for our patients. Previously, they were up on different floors, they were tricky to find, they were down hallways that nobody could ever find, and like Dr. Georgian likes to say, it was an Easter egg hunt, and it very much was. And so now everything is front and center, and actually we come and get the patient. All the patient has to do is come to our lounge, and we come and get them. But also, we wanted to create a retail space, and so now we have a retail pharmacy that is open 7 days a week, with a pharmacist on duty, and soon to be open 24 hours a day. And then we also have our gift gallery and our cafeteria, our dining services that we call the Fresh Market is now on the first floor. And we have had record sales. We have double the volume during lunch than we had previously. So it's a very busy space. Also, like Dr. Andrabi was saying, this is our new graduate medical education space. And so we will be providing education to residents, and we will also be doing fellowships here. And so traditionally in the state of Wisconsin, those programs have existed in Milwaukee and Madison, and so now it'll be right here in Neenah. And Dr. Chris Stenberg, who I think I saw somewhere here, there he is back there, will lead this program. And so the goal of the GME program is to prepare physicians to care for tomorrow's health needs, but also, it raises the level of quality for everyone, because if Dr. Georgian is training a resident, he better be up to date on anything that's new, right? And so it raises the level of quality for everyone in our facility. And so we're really excited to implement that program. Believe it or not, it takes 2 years to get through the accreditation process, but it'll be here before we know it. And so those are just a few of the highlights. I could go on and on all day about how many improvements we made to this campus. And so after our news conference, we invite all of you to tour the hospital to see the incredible work for yourself. And so at this time, I would like to thank our project partners, because without them, this never would have happened. Canon Design, Myron Construction, and H-Plex Solutions. So if you guys are here, please stand, because you deserve a little round of applause. Okay, so now to tell us more about the work and impact of critical care, such as emergency, ThedaStar, I would like to introduce Dr. Ray Georgian, ThedaCare System Trauma Medical Director.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Ray Georgian. 34 years I've been here, and I was in an emergency room in Chicago when all of a sudden I got a recruiter called me up and he said, "We'd like you to come to Neenah, Wisconsin and start a trauma program." And my first question was, where was Neenah, Wisconsin? I kind of put my hand up. And, but wow, what a great life decision that my wife and I made to come here. The magnitude of what this building project has done for providers like myself, but more importantly patients, I could spend the entire day talking about it. But let me just focus some of my thoughts on our emergency trauma services. Some of you may not be aware of, we were the first level 2 trauma center in the state of Wisconsin 30 some odd years ago. It took a lot of work, but the most important thing is the people, as Dr. Andrabi said. So But now to have a facility that is so up to date and allows us to take care of multiple community members who are injured now is incredible. The emergency room, the waiting area is so much larger than it used to be. Got a Saturday night here in the summertime, people are hanging off the rafters. Now we have this beautiful waiting area with vision and lights. It's fantastic. The actual emergency room has doubled in size, which is fantastic because our Portier doctors, they work their bottoms off taking care of all the people who come here. And Neenah is known as the place that if you're really sick, you're going to be coming here. I think it's really important to focus on one of the big additions to this emergency room is people with mental health issues, because they tend to cross over. People that are struggling with mental health issues oftentimes become trauma patients. And to be able to help those folks with those needs, we really did not have a good system for that in our old facility. And now we have a much larger area in which to help folks that are struggling with mental health issues, which is not just germane to northeastern Wisconsin, but throughout the United States. In terms of trauma, 3 incredibly large trauma rooms now. And that is so very important. And you can watch ER or any of those type of things, but you do need the space when people are critically injured. And let me tell you, we get critically injured people here, which leads me to ThedaStar. ThedaStar, our aeromedical transport system, which has been around since the late 80s, has saved thousands of lives since it's been around. Having a twin-engine helicopter, be able to be our handshake out in the scenes if you're in a car crash on a day like this where it is still cold, to be able to get that patient from the scene and bring them back to our facility in a prompt fashion allows us as trauma surgeons to save their lives. But one of the biggest problems we had here, and those of you who've lived here for a while, is that our helicopter pad was on the other side of the hospital from where our emergency room was. So now it's just a matter of feet where that helicopter will come in and land, and we can start life-saving measures much faster and not be riding outside on a cart trying to get here, which was very challenging at times. So all very, very important to us taking care of folks. Another huge advancement on this campus is the operating room suites, which have been totally redesigned. And that was in direct relationship to the fact that here at ThedaCare Neenah, we are on the tops of the nation for robotic surgery. So we have 4 new robotic operating rooms to allow people to have surgeries done in a minimally invasive fashion, to go home faster, to recover faster, to return to work faster. We're a national training center where we have seasoned surgeons from all over the country. We had a team from Boston here yesterday coming in to see how we do these operations. But you got to have kind of the field, the playing field, like the Packers have Lambeau. Now we have ThedaCare Neenah in which to do what we need to do to have a cutting-edge treatment for the patients that we serve. So it's a huge day and a very long timeline. This hospital has existed from its founding with the tragedy was surrounding Theda Clark to an exciting thing that has happened. And as a physician, but more importantly as a community member, I can't ever remember any project that I've ever been involved with. Everybody came together so quickly to embrace this and get this done so fast in a matter of months in order to raise money. And with that, I think I'd like to introduce Barb Borscher. She is our Chief of Philanthropy, and she can share more of that story. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Georgian, and thank you all for joining us here today for this exciting event, but also an historic event. It's history in the making here at ThedaCare Regional Medical Center-Neenah. So enhancements to better the patient experience through this modernization project at ThedaCare Regional Medical Center-Neenah were funded in part through donors who supported the ThedaCare Foundation Neenah. The ThedaCare family of foundations was the catalyst for this project, as this aligns with our work to drive innovation at ThedaCare and to really impact the health of our communities. So we were blessed to work with many generous donors, including individuals, families, corporations, as well as ThedaCare team members, physicians, and our executive leadership. And we were able to raise more than $15 million of philanthropic support. In addition, the foundation was able to add an additional $25 million for a total of $40 million in support for this modernization project. We're especially thankful for the ThedaCare Foundation Neenah Board, as well as the members of the Capital Campaign Cabinet for their tireless efforts to engage with the community in this historic fundraising effort. Today we have our ThedaCare Foundation Neenah Board. If you could wave your hands here. Thank you for all of your work. As Lynn mentioned, we have a very special connection to many of the updates that have been completed at the Family Birth Center. With the completion of construction for the Family Birth Center, as Lynn mentioned, families will now notice updated rooms. The updates include modern furniture for partners and family members who are supporting new moms and those beautiful babies. The new amenities can provide the space that allows partners to comfortably stay during the first few days of a new baby's life. The goal of this space is to create a comfortable, soothing environment through new finishes, furniture, and paint. Through this modernization, the Family Birth Center was officially named the Theda Clark Peters Family Birth Center. The opportunity to provide care for the people in our region was made possible more than a century ago when Theda Clark Peters directed a significant portion of her estate to be used to build a hospital in Neenah. It was after her death, and so community members would have, she wanted to do this so community members would have access to medical care. As part of the project, the Theda and Tamblyn Clark Smith Family Foundation generously donated funds towards this updated birthing center. ThedaCare is really proud and honored to continue the vision of Theda Clark Peters and her family by providing care to patients and families and empowering each person to live their unique best life. So through this support, ThedaCare can make sure mothers and babies have the most up-to-date technology and facilities that are designed with patients in mind to allow teams to continue to offer the right care in the right place. ThedaCare is extremely grateful for all of our generous donors across the community to make this project happen. Next, I'm honored to introduce one of the people who shared our vision for this modernization project, Mr. John Bergstrom, Executive Chairman of Bergstrom Automotive and ThedaCare Foundation, Neenah Board Member Emeritus.
This is an exciting day. For someone that has lived here for just about 78 years, within 3 miles of this building, it couldn't be more exciting. We see the helicopter come into our backyard 3 or 4 times a day, and it's an amazing experience because you know that there's this incredible team that's here waiting to take care of someone we care about, someone's grandchild, someone's employee, and make this person have a much better chance of getting through that trauma. When Dr. Imran came, we were in a tough spot. We needed a strong leader, and we got a wonderfully strong leader, and a very caring man, a very talented man, and he had a dream. And we talk about dreams a lot. This was one that encompassed absolutely everyone. And 2.5 years ago, he picked up the phone and said, "We need $100 million. I can find about half of it. Where's the other half going to come from?" I said, "Don't worry about it. Start building." And he laughed at me and whatever. But Pierce Smith and Mike Wade, Tim and myself divided this community into pieces. We all started knocking on doors. And 67 days later, we had the money. And he looked at me and kind of said, "Oh, shucks." And I said, "Don't worry, doctor, we're all behind you. Just don't screw it up. We've got, you said you could get this done in a couple of years," and the Myron people did a wonderful job, and their supporters and all of the other people that had a piece in this. We even had a lady almost die working, trying to get this done. Our incredible doctors pieced her back together and put her out on the field. You know, maybe you could look at yourself, Dr. Ray, like the Matt LaFleur of whatever. But just for the record, you're the Jordan Love, okay? Just for the record, we all like Matt, but Jordan's the one, you know. Okay, on a personal basis, I started dating a lady when she was 14 years old at the Whiting Boathouse a couple blocks away from here. When she was 16, she signed up to be a candy striper here. When she was 17, she got to be a nurse's aide. She went to the University of Wisconsin, came back a registered nurse, and spent 30 years here working shifts. She loves this place. When I asked her to get married, she said, if you think your job's important, we're going to have another discussion. And I suggested to her at that point that my good judgment was whatever you want to do is fine with me, dear. So we both went to work each morning and did our part to try to make a difference. But for years and years after she retired, if we'd go out to dinner or go to church, everybody'd say, how are you doing, Diana? Who's that guy? And it still happens. And when we had need to raise the money, and then we tried to use as a little bit of substance on how to get this done, we broke it into pieces. And I asked Diane, at this point in our life, we should probably do something that's significant for the hospital. She was not looking at me when I said this. She didn't even turn around. She just said, I spent 30 years eating in the basement of that place. And if one nickel of anything I have anything to say of goes to it, we're going to build them a really nice restaurant and dining facility. For me, as a car person, that just didn't seem wildly exciting. But I can tell you now on the street, they stop and say, you're the guy married to the girl that got us a restaurant. So I think I do have some kind of a part in it. But we have 3 children. We have 9 grandchildren. We have 2,300 teammates. And every one of them is in a lot better place today than they were 7 years ago when Dr. Imrad came, or 2.5 years ago when Lynn and Myron decided that they were going to transform this place. I feel part of that team. I was here quite a bit. I think I'm the only person that's been thrown out in double digits. So with that said, I do think I make a difference because I bring donuts. So the Myron team is well taken care of. So I just want to make clear how important it is for all of us that love this community to have someone hurt at work, have them have a chance to get here in a helicopter quickly, and doctors and staffs waiting, have this wonderful equipment, and have them have a chance to go back to their families and to work is pretty hard to put into words, what you've done for us all here. So we're very appreciative, and I thank you very much. Dr. Andrabi, please know that even though they think that they got a part of you in Milwaukee, I've made sure that the key in the lock on your office also has a chain that's attached to your ankle. And we very, very much appreciate what you and your wife have done for this community. So thank you, Dr. Andrabi.
The key to any meeting is never follow John. John and I had the pleasure of having dinner 2 days ago, and he's always like this. And you know, I'm just going to reflect for 1 second, and then let's close. When the initial conversation started happening in my head around the 2 to 1, the first person I went to was John. And we had lunch from Zupa's. But thank you for your vision. Thank you for your leadership. And you know, so many people have to be thanked. You know, part of the foundation, this community. I mean, this is such a generous community. I mean, imagine raising those kind of dollars in 67 days. Imagine making an ask and John calls and says, yeah, I got the money. Now, what are we going to do about it? Right?
No, it wasn't that. When are you going to start?
Oh, right. And then imagine John is on site every day with donors, like literally on site every day with donors, right? But that's the commitment. And there's one other person I want to thank, and then just say, because she's not going to thank herself, is Lynn Detterman. Over the last 2.5 years, with the pandemic going on and all the other things that had to be done in this organization and at Neenah, she was right on the ball every day, making sure that this project stayed on time, on budget, and gave a lot of herself to make this happen. So Lynn, thank you very much for your leadership. I just want to say in closing, this is also a time for gratitude. We get to do this work. This is our mission. This is why we are here. And it's a responsibility, and it's a vocation and a calling. This is not a job. I know every single member of my team knows that and expresses that every day, that we don't do this because it's our job. We do this because this is what we are here to do. Right? And so we hope that, with this leadership and with these communities that we are in, that we continue to do these kinds of things and continue to make it better and continue to empower people to live their unique best lives. With that said, let's go have some fun. We have an open house starting at 5 o'clock that goes from 5 to 8. There are going to be some tours, free-flowing tours, I understand, Lynn, giveaway prizes, drawings. So let's join in the celebrations at the front door of the hospital. And in the meantime, I think some of us get to talk to the media, and we'll meet you there. So let's enjoy, and thank you so much for being here this afternoon.
I bring it back here. If you guys hold there,